Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a book haul. I'm going to be showing you guys all the books that I have purchased this far this month. But first, today's video is sponsored by Scentbird. I have wanted to try Scentbird for so long, so I am so happy that they decided to sponsor me today. If you want to, keep the summer flow going and you want it to feel like summer year round, we have a fragrance for you. Scentbird allows for you to test out all different types of fragrances without having to commit to a single one. They have over 600 brands where you can try fragrances from that will help you breathe in all the juicy smells that you want. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service where you can choose any scent that you want for $16 a month. The scent that you choose is the scent that's going to come to your house. There is no surprises. There is no gimmicks. The scent that you want will come to your house. What I love about Scentbird the most, I have 3 fragrances right here, is their packaging. So it comes in this cute packaging right here, and you just twist the top on and off, and you just spray. And then if you want to take it out, it comes right on out. And notice the size of this. This is a whole ball roller size that you are getting as a sample. This is not your normal sample size. I have been using this fragrance for the past month. This is Gucci Bloom by Gucci. Yes, they have Gucci at Scentbird for just $16 a month. With each fragrance, you will get a 30-day supply and they will send you one. But if you want to upgrade to get 2 or 3 like me, you can go ahead and do that. They're so cute. You just slide them in your purse and you can just spray them all day. So you do not have to worry about the commitment of a full bottle, or you can see if you like it, then go get the full bottle. All of Scentbird's fragrances are authentic. You do not have to worry about that. And if you don't know what type of perfume or cologne person you are, you can take the Scentbird quiz where they will give you recommendations on what to choose. If you use my code, you will get 30% off of Scentbird. Go over there, take that Scentbird quiz. I do want to show you the 2 that I have been loving this month. Like I said, I have been using the Gucci Bloom by Gucci. And I've been using the pink sugar called Creamy Sunshine. These have been my 2 for the month. I've been alternating back and forth. And of course, if you guys use my code, instead of spending $16 on your fragrance, you can get it for $11. So if you would like to go to Scentbird and try out 1 fragrance or 3, you can hit the link down in my description, use my code, and it will be $11 a month. Scentbird, thank you so much for sponsoring today's video, and let's get on into it. Okay, you guys, like I said, today's video is going to be a book haul. I am really excited about this book haul. I like the books that I got. I'm actually really excited to dive on into them, but we can just start off and just get going with the books. I'll explain what some of the books are about and why I purchased the books. I love watching book haul videos. I know book haul videos is something like not a lot of people enjoy watching them, but I love book haul videos. I love to see what books people are buying, because some people don't like some books you want, but you don't buy them because you're like, it's just not worth the 10, 15 bucks. So what pushes people to buy certain books, whether it be the same copies of books they already own, new copies of books, I just love seeing what people are buying. And I don't like book hauls about books people are sent. I want to see what you're spending your hard-earned coin on. So I have a few books as of late that I have been deciding that I am going to dive into probably sometime this year. You'll see it in a recap video. Anyways, I am going to start with It Happened One Summer. I have heard nothing but good things about this book. This book is by Tessa Bailey. Now, gun to my head, I cannot tell you if I have read a Tessa Bailey book. Tessa Bailey writes those fixer-upper books, right? I don't know if I've read a Tessa Bailey book. I can't recall one off the top of my head. So if this is my first Tessa Bailey book, I am very excited. I was promised smut, so I am hoping that this book gives me smut. So It Happened One Summer is about a girl named Piper. Piper is basically like a socialite, socialista, I think, and she basically goes on a bender one day, ends up in jail, and her stepfather sends her off. This is like marketing itself as like a Schitt's Creek type of thing, and you know, I love Schitt's Creek. I really, really do. Therefore, I am very excited about this book. So he sends her off to work on like their boat or something that they have in some small town. It's a small town romance. We already know how those trope go. Girl from the city goes down to a small town, meets a man, and things happen. I am very excited to read this book. I almost picked this book up to start reading today, but then I decided to film this video. I'm like, let me film this video and then I will pick up this book. So this book will probably be in a recap because I'm actually really excited to read it. The next book I picked up is a duology. I think it's a duology. Is it a trilogy? I don't know. I just been wanting to pick these two books up for the longest time. So I decided to pick up American Royals. Now let me explain to you guys something, what I am as a reader. You cannot bully me into reading a book. I don't give in to peer pressure. Like, I read books when I'm good and ready to read books. That's why it took me years to read the Get a Life Chloe Brown series. Like, I need to be compelled myself to pick up the book, and I will eventually pick it up. Every book that is popular, I eventually get to if I want to get to it. Therefore, this book has been out a long time. The reviews are in. People have already given their opinions. And I always told myself, when I am ready, I will pick that up and I will put it on my bookshelf. But you know what? I saw it and I said, you know what? There is no time like the present. This is the type of vibe that I'm in. Because I finished Crazy Rich Asians, this kind of got me into like, okay, let's dive into the world. Anyway, this book is called American Royal by Katharine McGee. This book is like a world reimagined where when America won the Revolutionary War, instead of George Washington being a president, George Washington's family became the royal family, and that's where we get this. So basically this follows the Washingtons, and they're a royal family now. And so it's what if America had royalty. This sounds really fun. I hope it's executed well. I hope that it is a fun time. I think this is a young adult book. I don't know. I think it's a young adult book. I think I would enjoy this book more as an adult book, but I'm excited to read it. Maybe I'll be surprised. Maybe it's not young adult. I should have looked. And then I was like, why not just pick up the second book? Because more than likely, I'll read both of them, give you my thoughts. But I am excited to read both of these. That's another book that I'm really excited about. Now, these are kind of my boring books. I have two boring books that I actually already own, but we'll explain. So the first book that I bought in like the Barnes & Noble Classics type book, you guys know these. You probably picked them up for school. Believe it or not, I actually like these right here. I really do. A lot of people don't really like, you know, this is kind of even a mass market paperback. A lot of people don't like these. But I love having things like this on my shelf. I just really do. But anyways, I went to Barnes & Noble and I went to the classic section because I'm looking to get my classics up and collect some of the classics that I really enjoy. Now, I already own a copy of Sister Carrie up there, but it's the copy that I originally read, and it kind of has sentimental value to me, so I really don't want to annotate it and put all types of notes inside of it. I kind of want to have a second copy to do that, so that is why I bought this. Sister Carrie is it's definitely one of my like top 5 favorite classics, and it's also one of my favorite books of all time. Sister Carrie by Theodore Dreiser is often overlooked. If you're an English major or if you're someone who like reads American classics, you're aware of Theodore Dreiser and Sister Carrie. But if you're someone who just, you know, knows about books but you don't know a lot about books, Sister Carrie often gets overlooked. But Sister Carrie, this book, is so brilliant. Also, Sister Carrie has this weird, obscure, and ambiguous history on like the printing and what is what, and is this the original copy. It has some weird and like ambiguity to it, which also might lead to some people overlooking this book because it's kind of strange. With its history and how it's like perceived. Anyway, Sister Carrie follows someone named Carrie who is basically trying to social climb. She moves to Chicago and she's like, she was living with her sister. So many things happen, but this book is so good. This book is messy. This book is good. This book is fun. Like, I'm sorry, this book is so fun. Like, if you love mess and drama and theatrics and girls just want to have fun, this will give you that in Sister Carrie. But because it's a classic, of course, it comes with all the themes. The themes that this book is like dissecting is the American dream, which, if you don't know, the American dream and the dissection of the American dream is one of my favorite genres of literature, like, period. That's why I love The Great Gatsby. I don't know what to tell you. I love Sister Carrie so much. It's so funny because this book, in my opinion, is one of the few classics that has really stood the test of time and its messaging. What this book talks about with Carrie and the things that happen to Carrie are stuff people talk about right now. It's just such a good book. It is such a good book. I love Sister Carrie. Next thing I purchased was Little Women. Now, I have a 150th edition of Little Women up on my bookshelf. My classics are way up high up there, and I have a 150th edition, but I am so sorry. I'm not going to be lugging around the 150th edition of Little Women when I want to go and read this book. I read all over my house. I read outside on my porch. Like, I read everywhere, and I'm not lugging around that big book, and I plan on reading Little Women very soon. So I bought the Barnes & Noble edition, and this one is pretty. Look how pretty the color is. I bought the Barnes & Noble edition of Little Women. If you don't know what Little Women is about, I don't know what to tell you. It follows a group of sisters. The daddy calls them Little Women. I don't know. I watched the movie, and I've always said I was going to read Little Women, and you know what? Like I said, no time like the present. I've been in one of those things where it's like, I always tell myself, I'm going to read this book. I'm going to read this book. And because the world that we live in, I think to myself, what would happen if I departed this earth and didn't read all the books that I said I was going to read? I think about all the useless things I do during the day, and it's like, what if, like, use that time to read all the books you want to read? And so that's what I've dedicated this summer to. I've gotten through so many books. I've read over, like, what, 20 some odd books this summer. I thought I did really good this summer going through books that I really just wanted to read. And so Little Women is next on my to be read. Hopefully I'll have it done by the end of this month. I don't know. You'll find out in a recap video. Okay, so the next book that I have is A Chorus Rises, a very pretty cover. So this book follows our heroine named Naima. Naima does magic. You guys know I don't do magic, but I support black girls doing magic. So I picked up this book, and it doesn't seem like it's really heavy on the magic. I just think magic is an element of it. So basically, Naima is an influencer, and she basically does something, and she releases something villainous onto the world. And so she's basically canceled, and everyone hates her. And so she has to try to stage this comeback. But when she's staging this comeback, she finds her community of people who are just like her. This book sounds all over the place, but it sounds like it has a lot of heart. And you know what? That is what I want. I want books about black girls with a lot of heart, and I am very excited to read this book. I saw this book at the bookstore, and the cover, immediately I ran to it. Then I found out what it was about, an influencer, and then this weird magic. See, here's the thing. Usually I don't like fantasy books, so when someone says magic, I just see nothing. My eyes just go blank. But I'm actually kind of curious about this magic, because they say she releases like a siren onto the world. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but I am excited to read this book. I'm excited to tell you how it goes. It's pretty short, but I want to know what this book is about. So that is why I picked it up. Because some books do be having black girls, and I be just like, I don't want to read this. But this, I'm actually really curious. The next thing is by Tahereh Mafi, An Emotion of Great Delight. I am so far out of the young adult world. I did not know Tahereh Mafi was making contemporary books. I know Tahereh Mafi from that young adult series, Shatter Me. The Shatter Me series, that's what I think I remember Tahereh Mafi from. I could totally be wrong. If I am, you'll see a blurb saying I'm wrong. But That's what I know Tahira Mafi from, but first of all, I just have to say this. When I saw this book at the bookstore, does this girl not kind of look like Lori Harvey? Hold up. Does that not look like Lori Harvey? No, that don't look like Lori Harvey whole face. Anyways, I saw this book and I'm like, why does this person look like Lori Harvey on the cover? It does not matter. Anyway, this is called An Emotion of Great Delight by Tahira Mafi. And I picked up this book for a really specific reason because I hadn't realized I was not seen in media until I picked up this book. Okay, so this book follows our main character by the name of Shadi. Shadi is an American Muslim, and this book takes place a few months after America has declared war on Iraq. And she's basically having to come to terms with the Islamophobia, the hate crimes, with people being planted into American mosques to get intel, and FBI snooping around Muslim homes and all of that stuff. And it took me back to a time. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I am a Muslim, and I am not and I wore my hair covered ever since I was in the 2nd grade. Anyone who I've ever went to school with knows that Kenya wore her hair covered every single day. I was a very visible Muslim. Like, you knew, if people would ask me, Kenya, why do you wear your hair covered? I would say I'm a Muslim. And unless you were a Muslim in this time, this 2003, 2001 to 2003-ish time, you don't understand how it felt to have to deal with this blatant Islamophobia. Like, people just blatantly being hateful to you because they were just Islamophobic, and the propaganda, the anti-Islam propaganda that was all around. And so I really never thought the fact that, you know what, people don't make books about American Muslims and what American Muslims had to go through in that time. And that's for good reason, because first and foremost, there were actual Muslims who were dealing with a war on their homeland. Innocent human beings having to deal with a war. They're way more important, and we're over here in our privileged selves in America. So that's probably why we were not centered, for good reason. But it is good to see your story on paper, because I look back on it, in 2003, I was 7 years old in 2003. So I was in like the 2nd grade, and like people said things about Muslims and stuff, and I would watch the news and I would hear people say terrible things about Muslims, and I would think they were talking about my family. I would think people were coming for my family. Like, so just to see this and like have yourself being a black Muslim, I don't know if the character in this book is black, but being a black Muslim and even having this type of representation, someone telling your story, like, we dealt with some shit in 2003, it just feels good. It just feels good. Anyways, the next thing that I have is probably the ugliest cover of all the covers that I bought, and it is a Low Country Bride. So this book follows Maya Jackson, who for some reason has to go down to South Carolina. So she works at a bridal shop, and she wants to be the head designer at a bridal shop. But for some reason she goes down to South Carolina, and this bridal shop is about to go out of business. It's like family owned. So she steps in to save the bridal shop. The bridal shop is owned by this young guy. It's his family's bridal shop. And basically, you know how this goes. This is small town love. You know how it goes. Girl has to go to a small town. She meets a guy who's in the small town. He's charming, and you know, they get together. I just gave you the whole thing that happens in that book, and I ain't even read it yet, because that's my favorite genre. It truly is. Okay, so the next book I have is a book I am very excited about. This book is called Charming as a Verb by Ben Phillip. First of all, can we talk about the beautiful black people on the cover? I have been looking for more black stories with only black people in them. I love it so freaking much. But anyways, this book follows two people. We have a guy who is like very suave, very charming. Everyone loves him. I believe his name is Henry. Henry wants to go to Columbia for college. And so he's doing like this hustle. He's like hustling to do something. Well, then there's this girl named Corinne who lives in the neighborhood who don't find find Henry charming at all, but she wants to change her image in school, and she believes that Henry will help her do that. And she catches Henry in some hustle, in some scheme or whatever, and so she blackmails him. That's what I mean by blackmail. She blackmails him into helping her because she knows his little hustle and scheme, and then they end up learning more about each other, and I hope it's cute and I hope it's fun, and I can't wait to read this book so freaking much. Okay, so the next book is Some Other Now by Sarah Everett. So this book, I think, is about a girl who is friends with a family, and she's dated one of the guys in the family, or she likes one of the guys in the family. I don't know. This book has a fake dating storyline, and that's all I'm here for. Like, I love a good fake dating storyline, so that's honestly all I can really tell you about the book. I honestly just read the blurb before I came on here to talk to you guys about it, and I was confused as hell. So I'm just excited to read it. It's about a girl. There's this family. She's close to the family. They somehow leave. She don't see the family. Then they come back, and she got to pretend to be one of their girlfriends. I do not know, but I am very, very, very much so excited, especially because it looks like the main character is black. That sounds a lot of fun. So the last book that we have today is Simone Breaks All the Rules. So Simone Breaks All the Rules is about a Haitian American. Basically, her parents are very, very strict. Sends her off to all girls school so she can't be distracted by boys and all of that stuff. So prom season is right around the corner, and she wants to go to prom, and her parents say that they are going to choose her prom date for her. So that is basically her what's her name? Her name is Simone. Simone Breaks All the Rules' name. Simone is like absolutely not. So Simone and all her other like friends who are like really sheltered decide to make a bucket list. Now if I had $1 for every single time I had a book on my bookshelf about bucket lists, I own literally about, I would say, 10 books about bucket lists, people doing bucket lists. That's kind of the in thing. Maybe a few years ago, I feel like that was the in thing, like let's do a bucket list. And I'm honestly not a big fan of it. It has built in like drama that I kind of feel like is cheap, because you do something on the bucket list because you're forced to. And so you really never have to make real decisions because the bucket list makes the decisions for you. So it's kind of cheap conflict. So I don't really like them. So I'm not really I'm not 2 feet in on this book, but I'm dipping a toe in. I'm excited about this book because we already know how this goes. The bucket list happens. Things get messy on the bucket list, and Get a Life Chloe Brown does it. Smash It, I think, is about the same thing. I just have so many books about bucket lists, but here's another one. Child. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, that is the end of all of this. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. It does not go unappreciated. You guys are the reason why I am able to buy books like for fun, and I love you guys so much. You guys give me my dream life every single day. If you want to see more of me, hit me up on Patreon, which is As Told by Kenya, where I discuss every topic that I'm sure you're wondering, Kenya, why have you not discussed this topic? I probably discussed it over on my Patreon. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.